So from your perspective, how do business owners prepare to sell?
So first of all, I'm going to agree with you that sometimes business owners wait and realize they're getting tired and they don't, they're like, I can't do this anymore.
Mhm.
And you can't wait till you feel that way.
Right.
I mean, you got to say, I might retire in 10 years and start planning 10 years ahead of time.
Agreed.
Seriously. And I don't think I'm exaggerating, to be honest.
Mhm.
And I'll share a little bit of my story with this, and I hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
So there's three general ways. I'm sure there's a lot of things that go beyond the three, but the three main ways is one is an internal transfer,
Mhm.
which is what I'm doing. So being that I have clients that we have relationships with, I hired an employee. He sat on all the reviews with me. My clients realized that all the work after the reviews was done by him, and they would call me and I'd say, well, you have to talk to Moyes. And they would say, oh, and after 7-8 years, I'm out of the picture completely. He's doing the reviews, he's doing the backup work. If I got hit by a bus, there would be no change for my clients. They're meeting with Moyes anyway, so I've made it really smooth transition there.
Yeah.
But then as an owner on the internal transition, I asked Moyes, I said, so if I get hit by a bus, are we good? And he says, no, the business is getting bigger than I thought. I think you need to hire somebody to replace you because you bring in all the business. And so I'm going to say the last couple of years, and I'll be honest, the first 2 people I went through did not work out. Not that they're bad people, they just didn't work out.
Right.
But I found 2 people, and one is very good at financial plans, very technical knowledge. And the other person is my daughter. So that was just lucky because she worked somewhere else for 8 years and this just happened. And it was a godsend. So she runs the business. She does the marketing and such. So what's my point talking about me? You got to use that on yourself. If you're listening to this, you think about your own business saying, okay, how do I train people? And I'm training myself out of a job, right?
Sure.
But that's a good thing. And I talk to my employees and what would be a good transition. And now if you do a merge, you got to find an employee, maybe 2 or 3. You have to find people in place. You have to tell the whole place what's going on. You don't want it to be a secret.
Right.
My employees know what I'm doing. I suspect my clients know what I'm doing, and they probably appreciate it. So that's the hardest one, just for the record.
Sure.
The second one's a merge. So if you can find a competitor that complements you, let's say car dealership with a car wash,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, or a CPA with a financial planner, you get the idea.
Sure.
But or someone that's in the same business as you, and you can merge with them.
Mm-hmm.
And now you combine your businesses together. You're not the full boss. You got to let that go because now you're collaborating with someone else.
Right.
You don't have a lot of training to do. You're really just trying to structuralize your company and merge 2 into 1. And that might allow you to retire and sell to the other person.
Sure.
So that's the second way, is to merge. And the third way you mentioned already is just, unfortunately, I've run into a few people that they were ill. And I feel bad, but they had to just hurry and sell because they weren't feeling well and they just had to sell their business. The example I'm thinking of was a real estate agent and had a great business. And it would have been ideal, to be honest, if they took on a younger agent and, taught them everything, and then they would have gotten their flow of referrals. But by selling their business without preparing, it's tough to sell that because what is that new person buying?
Right.
When the customers don't even know them, right? I mean, that's tough.
Right. Yeah. So selling to the third party, though, you gave the example where they're not prepared to sell to a third party, but you can prepare to sell to another party, not third party, sorry. Well, I guess sort of third party, sell to another organization, not even necessarily to merge, or it's just an individual owner that comes along that is in the market to buy a business, and you are in the line of work that they want to buy. Like, we sold HVAC company, and somebody.
You're right. You're right. I guess you have a good point there, is that it doesn't have to be someone in your business, obviously.
Right.
I mean, you could own a roller skating rink, a sub shop, a restaurant, and someone else could buy it. Yeah. But it's much nicer if you can have time to train them and and merge them into your
Well, a lot of times,
culture
even
and
if
that kind of thing.
even if you sell to a third party coming into the organization, if you stay on as a while, a lot of times they'll come on as a consultant. And so
Yeah, yeah.
part of you'll wean off. And so again, it's important though that they find the right buyer for the organization, because those relationships can turn sour. So it's important that you find the right buyer. But that again just goes to show, particularly in the merge and in the selling to an outside person, those in particular require professionals to be involved, because the legal documents themselves are so critical. I was involved in a sale, and there was an attorney that they hired, and the documents all looked fine. You know, the seller is not an attorney, the buyer is not an attorney. They engage an attorney, right? So they look over the legal documents and it all appears to be fine.
Right.
Unfortunately, after this, again, transition time with the consultant, all that kind of stuff, they realized there was some stuff missing, and it made for a very ugly, ended up being a very
nasty, because
ugly,
they just one maybe wanted it done and the other was like, oh, wait a minute, right?
yeah, there were some things that fell through the cracks. It was a little bit of a complicated deal, and it was not structured 100% there. So it's so important for people who think, by the way, that they can just do this on a handshake and just write a few words on a piece of paper. I highly recommend against that.
That's dangerous. And I know you didn't ask me to really talk about what you do, but I'll be honest, having a coach or a consultant to help you look at your business and what might be missing, what could you improve? It's almost like fixing up your house before you sell it.
Absolutely.
And also, the consultant is not embedded in the business like you are, and they could start listing all these things like, what about this and what about that, and what if they could just think of all the what ifs, right, and get this all straightened out before the lawyer comes along. Yeah. Not that the lawyer's not going to think of these things, but I'll tell you, a business consultant that's strictly for your side is worth their weight in gold.
Oh, no question.
Okay, you know that, and I believe in coaches. I've had coaches. My business today would not be what it is without that. So honestly, I totally agree with you that you need a consultant or somebody on your side to help you figure all these things out.
Yeah, and enough time to cross all your T's and dot all your I's, so that when the day comes and you say, now I want to really start marketing the company for sale, your financials are clean and everything is, your systems, like you said, the owner is not involved in the day-to-day anymore. That's the whole goal. You hit the nail on the head when you said that. That is critical if, again, you want to get top dollar. Now, if you want a fire sale, knock yourself out tomorrow, put it out, list it on Craigslist, and you might sell it. But if you want to get top dollar and to have built that wealth, I mean, these are, after all, many business owners feel like their business is like their child, right? I mean, they do.
They do. You're right.
You've had Gleba Associates for 30 years. I mean, I've been in business for 16 years. This is like my baby. And if I were going to go to sell it, I wouldn't want to just have it, overnight. It would be important to me.
No, and business owners know this. My rule is I always hire someone smarter than me at whatever I hired them to do.
Yeah.
Because I don't know it all. And I know I'm smart enough to know that I don't know it all. So can I do my own taxes? Yeah, sure. But do I? No, because I use my CPA for all their expertise and giving me ideas that I may not have thought of, because that's all they do all day.
That's right.
And that's what coaches do. They've been around many, many, many businesses, and they'll say, look, here's some common problems. Right. I didn't know that.
Right. Absolutely.
So absolutely. Sense. Yeah. We're on the same page on that.
That's good. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. That's great. That's great information. All right.